Do y'all remember the last couple episodes where I was saying that I just didn't want to start a bunch of projects? I really want to finish the projects that I was working on. I did really good. I really did. I did really good for a couple of weeks. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Yarn Everywhere podcast. This is episode number 46. If you are new here, I am Nicky Avery, the crocheter and yarn dyer behind Avery Lane Creations and ALC Yarns. And this is the podcast that I share with you all things crochet, knitting, and yarn. So I am going to just jump right in and show you all the things that I'm working on. If you've watched the last couple episodes, I've started out with the same project each time. Let me just tell you, that one is not the one that I'm going to start out with this week. It is on my list, and it's not the good list. So, let me show you my BrenLeigh Scarf. This one's being nice and friendly. So this is my BrenLeigh Scarf, and I'm obsessed with this yarn color. I have not gotten very far. It's been a week. It's been a very interesting week, and I really haven't had much time to crochet or knit, but I am looking forward to a weekend of sitting and knitting and crocheting. This is one of my original designs, and I am putting it back through testing and fixing some of the things in the pattern, just some wording and stuff that I just didn't like. And I just did a step-by-step video tutorial of this pattern this week. So I need to finish this so I can get pictures of it, and then I can also record the intro to the tutorial and show the scarf and all the things before I jump in and show how to do it. This is definitely high priority on my list this weekend and early next week to get done. So let me show you the next project that I'm working on. I'm really excited about this one, even though I haven't had as much time as I wanted to dedicate to it. But let me show you how pretty this is. Look at that. So this is a hat that I'm working on, and it is a top-down hat. And look at all of that gorgeous, squishy texture. I'm obsessed with it. And this colorway, I can't remember the name of it now. It left me. But my friend Ronnie over at the Hooking Reader, she makes some of the most amazing stitch markers. I'm obsessed. In fact, I have one on here, and it's a little music note. I believe it was back last year. She did some Easter kits, or it was like a spring kit, and she had some of my yarn, and then she had like a set of 5 stitch markers, and it was super cute. And I just love this color. So of course I kept one for me, and I was just waiting for the absolute perfect project for it. And this hat is the perfect project for it. What's really special about this hat is one of my yarn club members and one of my good friends just released this pattern. It is her very first pattern design, so I'm so excited for her to jump into the world of pattern designing. I wanted to whip one up so I can help spread the news for her, and also I really wanted one of these hats for myself because it looks amazing, and now that I've started it, it feels so squishy. I will post a link below if you want to check out her Stay Posted hat, and I will also put a photo up here of a finished one because I did not get mine finished. Do y'all remember the last couple episodes where I was saying that I just didn't want to start a bunch of projects? I really want to finish the projects that I was working on. I did really good. I really did. I did really good for a couple of weeks, and then things just happened. So I needed a minute, and I needed a quick, easy project. So I started another Sunshine dishcloth, and this color, Dishy Cotton, in the color Eggplant. I was pretty sure it was Eggplant, but I didn't trust my memory. This has been in my yarn stash for a while, and I love this purple color. I come in here and I grabbed it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to work on this for a little while. This is as far as I got, but the next time that I need a minute and a quick project, it's already started, and I will probably be able to finish within 15-20 minutes. So at least it wasn't a big complicated project that I started. At least that's what I'm telling myself to make myself feel better. Okay, so I think I only have 2 more projects. I think. The next project, one that's been floating around forever. It is my Avocardio sock. This is a vanilla sock by the Crazy Sock Lady. I've made pretty good progress since the last podcast. I think I had just picked up the gusset stitches and I have finished the decrease stitches and now I'm just straight knitting. So this should go pretty fast if I can dedicate some time to it. I really, really want to finish these socks so I can gift them to my friend and so I can start the Rockstar socks. I did go ahead and prep. Like, I have a project bag. I have the yarn in the project bag, the needles that I'm going to use, and it's like ready to go. In fact, I think I have it right here. Yeah, it's like ready. It is ready to go. See, look. And look, I even have a snack in there, some Smarties. I put them in like almost all of my project bags. I have a problem. Who's ready to hear the new story about the muscle burr hat for my husband? I'm also working on one for me and it's in my purse and I forgot to grab it. I'll be right back. I really don't know why I felt like I needed to tell you that because it wasn't like I was going to edit that part out anyways, but here we are. Also, it was not in my purse. It was in my whip bag. Does anybody else have a whip bag for their whips? This is massive. This is literally the bag that I take like if we're going to go somewhere that's like more than 30 minutes from my house, or if we're going down to my in-laws' house and we're going to eat supper and hang out. This is the bag that I take because look, you can fit so much stuff in there. Of course, there's really not much in there right now because they're spread all over my desk, but I found my hat. Let me just tell you about my hat before we get into the husband's hat. I'm probably going to have to frog it. Yeah, it's probably going to happen. It's looking at my husband's hat now and this hat, but it's okay. It's a learning curve. You know, it's just, it is what it is, but look how pretty it is. I'm ready to get done with these hats so I can start my sweater. Like now it's like, now they're making me mad. Not really. I'm excited about my sweater and I really want to start it, but you see all that I have going on. Like I really need to start a sweater right now. I lost it. Well, now I lost my husband's hat. I have too many project bags. That's my problem. Oh, okay. I found it. The saga continues about the husband's hat. I'm calling him the husband because, let me tell you, I finished this hat. And I need to write these things down. I want to say it was last Saturday night, if not last Sunday. I finished it. I was so excited. Made him try it on. It fit, y'all. It fit. I was like, yes, yes. He tries it on, goes and looks in the mirror, you know, models it, all of that stuff. And he decided, my sweet, adorable, loving husband, decided, it was Sunday, I remember now, it was Sunday, decided that he didn't want to flip the brim up anymore. He didn't want a brim. I was like, really? I asked you 57 times. I asked you. And he's like, no, I want I want the brim that flips up. And I'm like, okay. So I finished it for the second time. First time was my fault. Second time's his fault. Anyways. So I had this idea. I'm like, I am not frogging it again. It's not happening. So I'm like, I'm going to tink back. Well, that lasted 2 rounds. And I'm like, I do not have the patience to tink. I was telling myself, I'm like, okay, Nikki, patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. You got this. And I'm like tinking back slowly. Like my eyes are going across. I'm like, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like being virtuous. I don't need patience. I don't need to be virtuous. Not in this moment. So then I had this idea that I was going to slowly frog it back to the length that I needed. And then I was going to pick up those stitches and then just carry on my merry little way. It worked. It really did. I was so proud of myself. I'd never tried to do anything like that before. I was like, this is amazing. This is so cool. Until I got around to like the last couple of stitches. Hot mess express. Seriously, hot mess. Like, thought I was gonna have a meltdown. Thought I was just gonna have a bonfire with the yarn. So I set it aside for a little bit, put it in timeout. I picked it up, tried it again, and I'm like, you know what? As much time as I am taking avoiding frogging this thing, it would save me time, save me stress, just to rip it and start over. So that's what I did. Sure did. So third time's a charm, eh? That's my motto. Let me show you the size compared to mine. And my husband's head's a lot bigger than mine. This whole hat sizing thing reminded me that I have an easy guide to sizing hats chart that I used to use all the time when I would go on my like crochet hat binge. And I haven't been making as much hats, so I kind of forgot about it. So when I did this for the third time, I was like, oh, I'm going to look at that chart and I'm just going to go by that chart for sizing. And that got me to thinking. I feel like with crocheters especially, I'm not sure about knitters because I'm kind of new to the whole knitting world, but I know I've seen with crocheters, like you either love making hats or you hate making hats. And some people have sizing issues. So I decided this week that I would work on a guide that goes with that sizing chart to help you get the perfect fit for your hat every time, whether you are doing a top down or a bottom up hat. That is now available and it is a free guide, and I will have a link below for you to grab that PDF. It includes a sizing chart from preemie size all the way to men's extra large size. So it's really handy to have. If you struggle with hats or if you just want to have that chart, check out the description below and I'll have the link for you. That chart is what is saving my peace about this hat and how I figured out how long I need to make this hat before I start my decreases and all the things. I feel like the third time's a charm and I just need to find time to work on these projects. My main focus right now is this hat, my BrenLeigh Scarf, and I really want to get this Stay Posted hat done so I can help promote my friend's new crochet pattern. So those are like my three main focuses this weekend that I'm really hoping to get done. We've also had some crazy weather the past couple days. We had an ice storm for like 2 days and it has been so cold here. Thankfully, the sun is out today. It's still not getting more than like 32 degrees. And look, I've been in the South so long that when it gets below like 60 degrees, I'm cold. So I've been freezing this week. We actually lost power yesterday morning and I usually get up super early in the morning and I make my husband breakfast and coffee before he goes to work. It's just my thing. I actually love doing it. But it was so cold. I made his breakfast and had his coffee and stuff on the table. I put his breakfast in the microwave because he was still in the shower and I wanted it to be hot. And I went and got back in the bed and he had just gotten out of the shower when the power went off. I was like, oh no. And I felt kind of bad because I didn't get up. I did not get up. He had to eat his breakfast with the flashlight on his phone. Poor guy. I was really sad because I didn't make enough coffee for me. I just made enough for him to have a big cup of coffee because my plan was to get back in the bed for like at least an hour because I was so cold. I'm like, I'm not even going to be productive at this point. My hands are too cold to knit or crochet. I'm going to lay down for like another hour and then I'll get up and fix me some fresh coffee, and the power went out. And that just like sealed the deal for me. I was like, yep, I'm going in full on hibernation mode. I got up, got another blanket, and I called the power company and reported the power outage. And then I snoozed. I went straight to sleep and I woke up when the power come back on. So it worked out good. Like I got some extra sleep, but I was also kind of freaking out because I had my interview with Biz at Busy Crochet yesterday. So I messaged her at like 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, power went out about 30 minutes ago. I feel like it's going to come back on within an hour or two. So I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I would feel better just telling you, giving you a heads up so you won't be surprised last minute. It all worked out well, and I will post a link below to that interview if you want to watch it. I had such a great time just hanging out and chatting with her. Not gonna lie, I was super nervous at first. We chatted about 30 minutes before we went live, and that really helped just kind of like loosen me up, you know, get all the awkwardness and weirdness out. Well, as much weirdness as I can get out. I had fun hanging out with her for a little bit. So if you're curious, go check that out. Now let me show you the new item that I got in. I actually got it in, I think, last week. But when I went to podcast, I couldn't find it because I'm Nikki and I just put things in the weirdest spots. So I'm showing you this week. Also, because of the ice storm, I haven't gotten mail in like 3 days, so the knitting needles that I need for my sweater are in limbo. They're supposed to be here today. We will see. I'm hoping that they'll be here today. Not that I can like actually start on the sweater this weekend, but at least it'll be here when I need it. So you ready to see the really cool thing that I got in? It is a sock ruler. But it's not just any sock ruler, okay? Look at this. Look, okay, this is gonna tell my age a little bit. But if you were like an early 90s kid, an 80s kid, you are gonna totally get my excitement about this. Okay, are you ready? It's a slap bracelet! Like, how cool. I love slap bracelets. And now it's like slap bracelets for sock lovers. Yes. I literally just want to wear this around in public. Not really. There's nothing worse than when you are knitting a sock and you're like so close to like the toe decrease and you have to keep stopping and trying to find your tape measure and all the things. So I'm really excited about this. Now I just need to get to knitting some more socks. So I wanted to show you, and this is from Twice Sheared Sheep. They're actually sold out right now. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I only bought 2 of them. I have to have 2 because it keeps me from losing one. Like if I lose one, then I have a backup. But usually if I have a backup, I won't lose the first one to begin with, except for that one incident. But I kind of knew where it was at. Anyways, moving on. How fun is that? Okay, one more time. One more time. You just have to get one just for that. But I will post a link below. It is an affiliate link. If you order anything from Twice Sheared Sheep using my link, I do make a small commission. And I appreciate your support so I can buy more goodies. I totally skipped a whole section of this podcast, but it's okay because I actually didn't have anything to show. I have no finished objects this week. I mean, I'm sure you can tell by all that I have going on that I really didn't finish anything, but I have no finished objects. And I think this is like a first for the podcast. I don't think I've had a podcast where I haven't had anything finished. But it's totally okay. I'm sure I'll have some next week. I'm hoping to have the husband's hat finished next week. Let me move on to ALC news. It has been a busy week over here. I have been working on some crochet tutorials. One of them I've already told you is the BrenLeigh Scarf. Well, while I was doing the BrenLeigh Scarf, I thought, why not go ahead and do some tutorials on how to foundation double crochet stitch, how to front post double crochet, back post double crochet. I think I even did one for the puff stitch. I worked on video tutorials this week and then I worked on editing them, and I have one of them up on YouTube today. And it's so fitting because I haven't used the front post double crochet stitch in a while. And now I have 2 projects with the front post double crochet and the back post double crochet stitch. So I feel like I'm doing them in my sleep, but they are fun. They're such a great textured stitch. I love using this stitch for the brim of a hat because I get really bored when it's like all single crochet brim working back and forth in rows. So this makes doing the brim of a hat super fun. And I know 2 hat patterns that the brim is worked in front post and back post. The BrenLeigh beanie that matches this BrenLeigh scarf. And then there's the Pebbles beanie, which is a free crochet pattern on my blog. So I will link those below if you want to check them out. The next thing in ALC news is my monthly hand-dyed yarn subscription box is open to new members. It's only open for the next few days. I was actually going to shut the listings down on Saturday, but this podcast is not going up until Saturday, so I won't be taking those listings down until Monday. In case you missed the emails or the posts on social media, I wanted to make sure I mentioned it on my podcast. I don't think I was open the last time I podcasted, so I want to just mention it. I will post a link below, or you can go to alcyarns.com and click Yarn Club on the menu. You can see all the information there. Real quick, I'll tell you the options. You can get the regular box. I say box, but it comes in a bag now. You can get the regular box, which is 1 hank of yarn, and you can get worsted, DK, or sock weight. And then it also comes with extra goodies that are curated to spoil you and a private Facebook community, which is my favorite part. Then there is the premium option. You get the same thing the regular members get, plus you get 1 additional hank of yarn. Then you get an exclusive extra goodie for premium members only. Now there is a new option. One of my Yarn Club members came up with this idea and I loved it, and I put a poll up in the Yarn Club and there were several people interested in it. It is the deluxe option, and you get 3 hanks of yarn every month. Plus you get the same extras as the premium and the regular members. One of the unique things about the Yarn Club is I dye 3 different colorways each month for 2 reasons. Well, several reasons, but 2 main reasons. I get bored when I have to dye the same color over and over and over again, so it keeps me from getting bored or burned out and just not loving it. Plus, there's something for everybody. Like, I have options when I go through and pick who gets what color, and I can make sure, I have 3 chances to make sure that they're gonna get yarn that they love. So that just makes it even more fun for me and for them. I have more than 1 idea for the themes that we have each month, and it's like, I would be stuck in like indecision trying to decide which of the colorways to go with. So this way I get to get some of the ideas out of my head and onto yarn, and everybody gets something that they love. So that is where the deluxe option came from, is some of the Yarn Club members were jealous of not getting the other colorways. Now as a deluxe member, you get 1 of each colorway. This was September's Yarn Club colorways. The theme was precious stones. Here's just kind of an idea about how I do 3 different colorways, but I honestly think that these 3 would go well together in the right project. Now, I don't dye them for that purpose. Like, I don't usually dye them so they will go together in a project. Sometimes you just get lucky and it works out like that. So those are the options for the Yarn Club. It really is more than just yarn, and it's an experience every month. It's a community, and we would just love for you to join. So if you want to join us, I will post a link below. We are going to move on to ends check. I don't think I did this last week because I did not even look for anything to weave ends in on, but I spied this in a project bag that I was cleaning out, and the ends were just, hanging out, doing their thing. So I was like, you know what? I have my yarn needle right here within reach. I'm going to go ahead and weave the ends in on this. So I did. This is a simple cotton washcloth that I made with Dishy Cotton. And this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, so I will also post that below. I really think this is my favorite dishcloth pattern because whenever I go to wash dishes and I have to choose a new dish rag, I'm always grabbing these first. I think it's because it's kind of a tighter stitch than the Sunshine. I think that's what it is. It's just a little bit tighter. Both of them are pretty. They have just the right amount of texture. I usually just switch up between the 2 whenever I need to make something that I don't have to think about. Just to wrap it all up, my goals this weekend are to finish the husband's hat, finish the BrenLeigh Scarf, or at least get really close to finishing the BrenLeigh Scarf. Finish the Stay Posted hat, get pictures of everything. That will help me cast on my sweater kind of guilt-free, and I won't have all these lingering projects. And having my sweater project that I really want to get to kind of lingering over my head is really going to get me to stay focused and get those 3 things done. Because on Monday, I will be getting back in the dye room and starting February's Yarn Club yarn. The theme is Feeling Lucky, and I have a ton of ideas. It's going to be really hard to narrow it down to 3 colorways. I posted in my Yarn Club and I told them what the theme was and asked them to tell me what colors come to mind when they think about feeling lucky and this time of year and all of that stuff. And it was really funny because one of them responded green and gold, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can do green and gold. I might be able to do green with a couple other colors and lightly speckle gold in there. It'll be interesting once I get in the dye room what comes out of my head. I love hearing their ideas because sometimes they're like, I'm like, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Ooh, yes, I'm excited now. Then there's some of the comments that I'm like, ooh, I didn't think of that. That would be really cool. So it gets me even more inspired and motivated, and now I can't wait to get in there, but I'm not letting myself get in there this weekend because I have a lot of adulting to do. And then I also have a lot of projects that I need to finish, and it would be nice to just kind of relax and hang out with my husband because he had a really busy week at work last week and I had a really busy week. So it'll just be kind of nice this weekend to unwind because once I start dyeing yarn, that's when all of the work begins. Dyeing yarn is the fun part. Yes, it's a lot of physical labor and work, but it's the beginning of all the work that comes afterwards. And I really don't mind it, but it's not as laid back as this week has been, where I'm doing like a lot of video tutorials and things like that. And it's always good to just kind of have that couple of day break between dyeing all the yarn and getting everything prepped and ready to ship out, and then the actual shipping out of the yarn club. So I always like to try to take at least 4 or 5 days where I don't have to do anything that is like a lot of physical labor. And then I can also get caught up on like emails and all that kind of stuff. That's a wrap for this week's podcast. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, happy yarning. Bye for now.